to let the first round go to you guys and let you get the applause and the rah out of your systems and feel good, you feel better now. If we can, the intent of this is to have time after the debate to let the candidates mingle and talk to you one-on-one. If they have the time and they're able to, you can ask questions directly to them. The longer we clap and applaud after each candidate, the less time we'll have afterwards. So I would ask that you please respectfully wait, hold your applause until the end of the debate, and then you can let it all rip out when you're done. Okay? Now, the next question will go to Robert. This is a tax policy question. You'll start. When the U.S. tax code was first published in 1913, it was 400 pages long. Today, the tax code is 71,684 pages long, and you have to be Rain Man to understand it. Question, do you think the tax code needs to be overhauled? And if not, please help us understand what you like about it. The second question is, there's a number of alternative plans out there ranging from the fair tax, to the flat tax, to the value-added tax. What tax system would you support and why?
Now, who doesn't like paying taxes? I can't believe you'd even ask that question. We're all patriotic here. Who said it that it's time to get in the game? My Vice President Joe Biden? Yeah. I think Timothy Geithner, I think if he can understand the tax code, we ought to keep it. Ladies and gentlemen, what the government, by the way, you were correct, it started in 1913, but it was a temporary tax. Temporary tax. The problem is with our government is once they tax something, it never goes away. I call it herpes. You just never get rid of it. The thing is that we really got to take a look at what we're doing in a tax code, because we do have certain enumerated powers that the government should be providing all of us, but what are they? And how come there's so much more? And who's going to pay for it? The problem is they're picking winners and losers through the tax code. Who gets a credit? Who doesn't get a credit? These are the things that's wrong with our government when they do things like that, instead of just having us as the individuals pay our fair share. And so when I look at the different plans that are options, such as the fair tax, which is kind of a consumption tax. You have a flat tax, which includes the IRS, it's just that we're now maxed out, or a value-added tax is what Europe is doing, which is a small itty-bitty tax on every part of the process. So sometimes it grows to as much as 20%. The problem with that is it's regressive. The person only making $20,000 a year in your poverty level is paying the same amount of tax as a guy making $200,000 a year. And here's what I think is wrong with the system. That it's not equally divided. I believe everyone, every American should pay something. We shouldn't have 46% of the taxpayers not paying anything. I also lean towards the fair tax because it's more of a consumption sales tax, and we can do away with the IRS. Don't feel bad about the unemployment for those people. There's other jobs that we're going to create with less taxes, okay? But I would go even further. If we really want to compete on an international basis, we have to reduce our corporate taxes. Let's choose a country, say Ireland, 11%. They were suck and win just like we are now. What they did is reduce their corporate taxes down to 11%, and they have more businesses starting business there, even though their wages are higher. Why? It's economic incentive. What a concept, capitalism. It works, ladies and gentlemen. But then we would also want to induce investment, and so we want to reduce or eliminate the capital gains tax. Then people would want to spend their money as an investment that might be risky, so we then create jobs. Also a word that Washington doesn't understand. So we can start with the income tax, but we got to go through the entire tax structure and bring this back into reality.
I think that the IRS certainly 71,000.
Louder.
71,000 pages, certainly I think we don't need any of those pages. I think that we can do away and do a consumption tax. Every person needs to buy certain things. If you could pay your taxes based on what you purchase, it wouldn't matter what your income level was, because if you make more money, you spend more money, you buy more toys. If you earn less money, you would spend less money, so taxation would be fair. I think this was proposed by Marco Rubio for property taxes in Dade County, or in the state of Florida, when he was at the state. And certainly if you could apply that principle overburdening taxation that we have in our country. It sounds simplistic, but it would work. Part of the problem that we have, and that's something that we're probably going to talk about tonight, is the problem of lobbyists. A lot of things are not done in this country because of lobbyists. We have lobbyists influencing every decision that Congress, every decision that anybody makes is controlled by lobbyists. We have to get that in check, and then maybe some other ideas would be like a flat tax. But the accountants, lobbyists, won't let that happen. IRS attorneys don't let that happen because the more polluted the code is, the more money they make, based on us not understanding the tax laws. So I support a consumption tax, a tax on goods that you purchase, and no income tax, no corporate tax.
Karen?
Well, two things in life were guaranteed, death and taxes. And both in our personal and our business life, we know we face a lot of taxes. And with the new health care bill being passed, of course, the book is going to get much thicker. But as far as a fair to a flat tax, both of them have good qualities in each one of the plans. I would be apt to more for a flat tax. I think you shouldn't punish the wealthy just because they make more. And if you're at the higher 1%, you're at a 70% tax bracket. I never got a job from a poor person, my father used to say. And I now have worked for my father for 35 years in business. So another thing that's important to the taxes that would greatly affect our family is the death tax. So let's talk about some of the taxes we need to get rid of and make the book smaller, before we necessarily talk about bringing in new tax ideas. So as a death tax in our family, as it is in many small businesses, it would cripple the economy. And that's going to stop at the end of this year. Those are money that we're set to inherit so we can build our business, expand our business, and create jobs. So my parents that have worked their entire life and now have to take everything out of their name so that their children aren't taxed an enormous amount at 60 to 70%, they don't get to die with any dignity. You work your whole life to make your way in this country, and that's the kind of respect the government gives back to you, is more taxes. Speaking of that, the 01-03 taxes, those are important to all of us sitting in this room. We cannot let those expire at the end of this year. That's going to cost the average family somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000. That's very critical in these tough economic times. And we have to stop the tax hikes on international business. We have the second leading international taxes on businesses. The only other one is Japan. So we can talk about all these great tax ideas, which we need to cut taxes and make them more fair. But the first thing we got to do is send conservatives to Washington who are willing to stand up to what's going on, because they're passing all of these bills and programs, and that's going to find ways to tax us more. Testing. Find ways to tax us even more. So some of those ideas in both of the fair tax and the flat tax are good ideas. We definitely would oppose a VAT tax. That's completely out of the question. This government is already heading us in a direction of socialism. A VAT tax would absolutely put us there. So send us to Washington, let's talk about smaller government, and me as your congresswoman, I will fight to cut your taxes.